Alright, let us get everything set up here. Okay, I think everything's in order, so I am going to get to work. Okay. Well, start off, I'm probably gonna have a bit of blacks to do this time. There's quite a bit of stuff going on in the scene. But such is the life of a creator. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer there. There we go. Always want to put the black layer, the layer you're doing the blacks on, over the normal layer. Anytime you're doing the next phase of something, it should be on another layer. Just to... You don't want to mess with the original artwork too much, other than just making sure specs and stuff are off of the image from when it was scanned, in case you have, like, dust or hair or something that gets caught in the scanner. Uh-oh. Well, I dropped the mouse. I got it, I think. Okay, I got it. There we go. I have salvaged the mouse. Nope. Reset this. Okay. And of course, something comes up while I'm streaming. But that's to be expected. There we go. That should work. Okay. Think we got things in order. Alright. Hello, Daniel. How are you doing? Sorry, I just dropped the mouse, so I was having to redo a few things that got skiffed up when that happened. Right now, we are working on today's comic page, page 49 of Heroes and Legends, the 14th comic of the Dreamscape series. We have Blue Resort from Bomberman 64 playing in the background. Everyone's having a good time. Was the stuff with the vet and the dog, did that go okay, Bowyer? I have quite a bit of stuff to blacken on this page today. A bit more characters and objects in the scene than in some other pages. I figured the dog would be okay. I'm happy to know it's all going well. We just got these characters here on the outskirts of Tataki Fight Island. The break is about to getting close to being over for the tournament, so people are trying to get back to the arena before the final match takes place. These two in the background here have been spending the break gathering up plushy prizes from the various games around the island, around the festival and stuff. Good thing about doing this as like digitally editing afterwards is when mouths are completely white like that, I can just put in whatever lines I want for the teeth and tongue. I don't really need to do that in the actual drawing process beforehand. And this page itself took quite a bit more time than I was figuring it would. But that's what happens sometimes. All depends on the amount of work and you're doing on it. If I just wanted to make white backgrounds for everything, the comic would be done in like a month, probably. But I'm not that lazy. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, we got a plushie of Xeno Hunter here. One of the various cameos of characters from other series that I've made up. I guess I might have come up with another series last night. After doing the comic page, I started coming up with an idea for a story that was happening in, now that I think about it, probably the same time period that the comics here would take place in, but it's a completely different world, so it's not relevant to, like, the universe that my comics take place in. That series would be Blue Ocean, which was named what it was because of its it's as a nod to the Blue Ocean event. It'd be set in a world where the world is pretty much flooded, global warming, climate change stuff, and people of that time period would be, like, mostly living underwater as more amphibious type of creatures. The reason I set that idea in the 2300s is, because that is around the time that some scientists think that aquatic life might start dying off in the ocean from the change in temperatures and stuff. It just happened to fall in the same time period that my comics take place in. Although I can never remember if the comics are 2300s or 2200s. But again, it's two different series, so they have, like, no relation to each other. It's just some side idea I came up with last night to sketch things and stuff. Yeah, I put the sketches up on DeviantArt and Discord last night and this morning. Mostly just showing the diverseness of what different people in that time period would look like from the evolutions. Yeah, this thing here is sort of a little shopping cart that has, like, sort of these tank tread coverings over the wheels, and it's like, it was sort of thinking of combining a tank with a shopping cart was all it was. I'm not sure why, but it just illustrates the different types of devices and vehicles and stuff in the comic time period. Really, the far, far future scenario a lot of times is an easy excuse for just drawing pretty much whatever cool things you come up with. Like Samurai Jack. Just throw whatever you think is neat into the pot. Yeah, this girl here is the one that is really after the plushies. The guy that she's with is just trying to get back to the tournament grounds. But she is wanting all the plushies, so she is dragging them along no matter how late it ends up making them. Do not bother asking their names, as I do not know them. They're just two characters I came up with for this page. Now, over here in Ohio, it is still quite a bit cool. I'm kinda surprised. Normally it feels like it would have heated up more by now, but yeah, that's fine for me. I prefer the cold to the heat. Yeah, I will suffocate and burn to death in the summer months. isn't what I wanted. Yeah, I need to get some more music. Have more variety on here. It's just that when I'm collecting stuff to put on, like, the hard drives that I keep things on and stuff, I'm normally preoccupied collecting all sorts of different things. Music is usually the last thing on my mind for that. Oh, and I hope that the tips from everybody on the anatomy and everything helped out yesterday, Bowyer. Yeah, I think the main thing is just relax and do not focus too hard. But focus hard enough that you're not just lazily doing things. And after enough time of doing it that way, it just kind of builds and it sort of takes care of itself after enough work. Yeah, the Discord server in general seems to be a pretty decent place for people to interact in so far. Just sharing knowledge and having fun and stuff. Hopefully as time goes on, more people come to the server. But if not, we got the people there that seem to be pretty happy as is. Really, we just need more troops to start our industry of the animation empire. Overtake everything. Undo Disney's hold on all that. Then give the power back to the creators. And hopefully make money along the way. Be nice to be financially secure and not have to worry about things. But the main thing is to make sure that creators are getting what they deserve and should have and stuff. And being allowed to do whatever they want. Well, not do whatever they want, create whatever they want. Yeah, we don't want people just running around murdering or anything if that's their fancy. But creation-wise, anything should be allowed. Take care of the age rating afterwards. This morning I got up and headed down to Joseph Beth and got a muffin and looked at some books in the comic area. And as per usual, did not get anything because things are too expensive now. But maybe at some point I'll find one that's too irresistible to pass up. I did get the last Ronin Ninja Turtle book from their last year. It's a story that is working off of ideas that the original two creators of the Turtles had for an ending to the series. Things have obviously been added onto it, because it incorporates elements from, like, after they worked on the series. It works off of an idea they had for the ending. See. Yeah, it already took me 20 minutes to do the blacks for that panel. Well, you got all these other panels to do. Yeah, we're gonna be here for a bit. Who knows, maybe we'll be joined by other folk. People from the Discord? People stopping by from subscription notices? Who knows? And here the girl that's pulling the cart just ends up letting go by accident and slamming into these boxes that are back here. And that causes the box to wobble and tip, and little mouse is watching too. And there it is, falling towards them. Your hair gets a bit ruffled from the startle of the loosening grip. Yeah. Yawn, yawn, yawn. Always with the tired... well, I guess tired body. I don't really feel tired, but I always feel the need to yawn. It probably has to do with how my body is at this point. I just chalk everything up to that these days. Oh, this part of me hurts. Okay, that relates to the pains. Oh, this part of me is not walking as well? Okay. That can be the pains. Yeah, it's just a excuse for anything that ails ya. Oh, hello, Masasa. I hope your drawing is going well. Oh. I guess I'll write this then. Since you can't hear. Yeah, there's a fish guy. Well, I guess Masasa is just going about fish drawing. She's doodling, I think, some of the stuff I came up with for that future story with the aquatic people and stuff. The Blue Ocean story. She does do quite a bit of animal people in her stuff. I figured those ideas I came up with last night would probably be right up her alley. Maybe Handgun will get in on that action as well. Those two seem to be working together now more these days. Oh right, I gave this girl, like, an antenna coming out of her hair. I'm not sure why. Other than the antenna, she just looks like a normal person, so... Maybe she's a plant person or an alien or whatever. Really, it's just another cartoony resident of my world. I remember Ren and Stimpy, the announcer guy for, like, when there were pageant shows or things like that, or, like, the narrator on the space episodes of Ren and Stimpy, they'd always use the same design for the guy, which is, like, this guy in a suit, but he has just this antenna coming off of his head. And other than that, he just looks like a normal guy. It was always just kind of really funny to me. Just, yeah, I'm a human. I just have an antenna coming off my head. Although Ren and Stimpy had quite a variety of character designs they keep reusing. It was sort of like old Looney Tunes, where there would be designs that they came up with and would use later, but they'd be like background characters, kind of. And it'd be just depending on what the episode's about is what role they fill. It's like the cartoon characters felt like actors on some show, and every episode would be a different show that they'd be like acting a different role on and stuff. Oh well. I am happy to see the fish people getting use. And I'm pretty sure she saw that message, so back to the drawing. Yeah, maybe this'll be a Masasa Edward collaboration IP that gets sold to Hollywood and makes us millions. Which then it will be undeniably eviscerated in the adaptation process of executives going through everything and warping it all. But as long as the original idea is still in the creator's hands, it should be decent enough, situation-wise. There are so many IPs that just get destroyed throughout, like, the adaptation stuff. Sometimes creators care, sometimes they just see it as, well, that one's successful, so I'm getting money from it. All depends on who the creator is and how they value each of their works. I remember that, I think it was Alan Moore. He did not care how the Watchmen movie turned out. He just was... He doesn't care about the movie, he doesn't care how it turned out, all he saw it as was something to make money, and that's about it. Although Alan Moore himself is a bit cuckoo at times to me. He never seems to really like anything that he's taken part in. Well, I'm not gonna say anything, but a lot of things, at least, that he's taken part in after the things are finished. I think that's just part of his personality. Time passes and he doesn't care for how things are. It's probably just ingrained in him to not be satisfied, I think. Or have two... Or his standards are just at a certain specification that no one besides him truly understands what he wants. Everyone's got their own desires. Sometimes get him and Frank Miller mixed up. Like, I know their stuff after I think for a second, but they were just like two edgy creators at the same time. So between them, their works flip-flop in my head until I bother to sort it out. But Frank Miller's the one I usually remember more when I bother to. I can never well, I think I like Dark Knight. The Dark Knight Returns the most out of the stuff he's done. I know to him it's Batman. It's not like the most personal of his like creations, since it's not really his characters. But at the same time, it is like arguably the best Batman story ever created. And the artwork is gorgeous at times. Most times. But I also really like Ronin, which was obvious inspirations for Samurai Jack with that one. But I don't like Ronin as much as Samurai Jack. The reveal of what's actually going on in Ronin is kind of not the best to me. It feels too easy. I'd much more preferred the actual Ronin, like how Samurai Jack handles things. Samurai Jack I just view as a complete work of art from beginning to end. It's probably what I would consider the greatest show ever created. There's such atmosphere and magic to it. No need for words a lot of times, just action storytelling. Yeah, that show is what solidified Gendy as one of the legends of the industry. Like, I like Dexter, it's always a fun time, and it has the beginnings of that type of stuff in it. But Samurai Jack is where it really was exemplified, his style. And it is quite a style. Star Wars Clone Wars was pretty awesome, but again, it's not like the creators' own characters that's taking an existing property and making their version of it. Which admittedly is probably the best Star Wars thing of all time. But at the same time, it's not his characters or anything. It's great, but it's not fully Gendy. Still can't believe how they butchered Grievous in the movie. Seeing the Clone Wars, the Gendy stuff, before Episode 3 came out was like, it was such a letdown seeing the movie. And it was obvious Lucas was not going to be able to match the stuff that Gendy was doing, but still, it's just, it leads like perfectly into Episode 3 with that show. And then it's just, oh, we're back to the George Lucas stuff, and it's serviceable. But, as long as I got Gendy, I can bear it, I guess. Oh, well, Cartoon Network, interlocking universe would be pretty neat. They have kind of done that at times with, like, the old bumpers in the 90s where all the characters would, like, interact and go on, like, to the studio together, and then the Cartoon City in the 2000s, wherever, like, all the cartoons lived and interacted and stuff like that. That was always, like, one of the best things about the channel, was just that whole everyone's here and it's all a great time. Actually bothering to animate all those characters in different situations just for the commercials and bumpers. And they were phenomenal bumpers and commercials. People that really understood the characters and how each of them, like, acted. And just animating it all beautifully. Fred and Scooby-Doo challenging Coop from Megas XLR to a race. And all the geniuses of the town getting together to unlock Professor Utonium's car and stuff. It's such good setups. I think the people that worked on those, a lot of them ended up going to, like, Adult Swim later on. Which would explain the quality of, like, the humor of Adult Swim's commercials. Yeah, Nickelodeon never was competition to me when it came to, like, which one was better. Nickelodeon had its great shows, like Invader Zim, Rugrats, all that stuff. My Life as a Teenage Robot, Danny Phantom, Fairly Odd Parents, but they did not have the variety and the drive to keep making new interesting shows as constantly as Cartoon Network. And the ones that they did have, they just ended up canceling eventually. Like, nothing survived on Nickelodeon. It was great when you got the good stuff, but more often than not, Nickelodeon seemed to be a bit scared of doing what would be the good stuff. Which never made sense to me. Like, they would always get people that would create things that, looking at the stuff, it would be obvious that, like, Nickelodeon would not be okay with airing a lot of the stuff that the creators would do. So, like, why they even got the creators to make the shows they did a lot of times, I did not understand. A lot of shows, well, Invader Zim, that should have been an Adult Swim show, like, from the start. Although most shows would benefit from being on, like, adult channels, because then they'd be allowed to do whatever the creators wanted to do. But things like Invader Zim, even Hey Arnold would probably be better fit for, like, Adult Swim at times. Because any show that, like, has interesting stuff to it can inevitably get into that more adult territory. Not necessarily with, like, cursing and obscenity, but, like, just the material in general. Just, it keeps things interesting to just have that kind of freedom to allow the creators to do what they want to the full extent that they want. Yeah, even things like Gravity Falls, Amphibia, those would benefit from being Adult Swim things. being allowed to show stuff more often rather than just implying it or just having like one scene a season of the type of material that you would expect to be in the scenes that are more dangerous. Yeah, I was thinking of this girl character as being like green-skinned, kind of. Although, in my comics, the vampires are like greenish, bluish skinned. I didn't want to have them just as like normal human colors. Oh. Yeah, it seems that Masasa on the Discord is drawing more and more of those fish people. And here's the tipping of the box. Actually, no, I shouldn't fill those holes in. That give the implication that they're actually holes when they're supposed to be like screwdrivers or nails that are driven in there. Which makes my job easier, don't have to blacken as much stuff then. A little mouse watching from the side. Well, out of your guys' favorite, out of the shows you watched on Cartoon Network, what would be, or Nickelodeon or whatever, what would be your favorite Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network show? Mine would be Ed, Edd and Eddy. Always a classic. Oh, well, it would have always been neat to see like a battle between Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon. Obviously, for copyright reasons and stuff, that would never happen. But that is what would draw in, like, all the people that grew up in, like, the 90s and 2000s and stuff. Although I do remember there was a commercial for Cartoon Network on Nickelodeon at one point, and it was like Johnny Bravo, Double D, there were a few others, but they were like advertising for Cartoon Network, but like trying to whisper and stuff and saying, "Come on guys, we can't be here, get that ad up." just trying to sneak in advertisement for their channel on the rival channel, which I always thought was one of the funniest ideas for a commercial for those things. It was played very rarely, but I do remember it. I wonder how many people would buy physical copies of these comics. I imagine with how many people, like, tune into the pages that there would be some people that would. And there's probably enough people that haven't seen the original comics yet that would want to see the, like, remakes I'll be doing. Yeah, here comes this giant crate about to crush these two. Just holding on to each other and screaming, expecting the horrible impact that'll occur. Their bodies broken and lifeless from the fall. Yeah, hopefully I'm not too boring in my constant drawing videos. Might give some people some inspiration in some form to keep working on their own stuff to see this stuff being made, I guess. This guy here did something I never do with mouths, which is just make them connect to the side of the face. Like, there is no chin or anything that you can see. It's just mouth. It's what a lot of cartoons do. Well, more like Asian cartoons at times, but it's not something I have tended to do, because it just makes the image look messed up a lot of times when I do it, but here it seemed okay, so I did it. Yeah, I used to draw people in the comics with more lines to their face. Like, the cheek would go like that, and see that type of cheek and stuff. And it just ended up being... I evolved out of doing that, because a lot of times it ended up making the characters look too old and stuff because of all the lines in the face. It looks a lot more appealing to me a lot of times, unless it's like really expressive. to do it with less lines than, like, emphasizing the cheek area and stuff all the time. I think I was wanting to capture the emotion that you could feel from, like, the old Chuck Jones, Bob Clampett type of Warner Brothers cartoons. Okay, that's his foot. So that's her butt. Alright, now this middle panel that shows the slashing of the box. They're hanging on to each other for dear life, expecting this box to fall on them. And then something comes through and slashes it in half. And you can see that it's filled with all these plushies and stuff. Cotton and dolls go flying everywhere. Just a nice clean cut through it all. Actually, I don't probably have that much to blacken on this panel. The slashing effect covers most of that already. Okay. Just get all the little cracks and stuff, the interiors of them with black. Well, we've got a moment of silence here. I'm not saying anything. That's unusual. Get this. I think a lot of what took up making the page was doing all these individual planks of wood that make up the box. And then something from the panel below this, but we'll get to that. Yeah, because these are all wooden boxes, and here it's all right. Because it's like, it's just draw line, 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 line. But once you get to like the action of slashing the thing open, you have to take into account all these like little rivets and stuff that go through the wood naturally, and then all the cracks that form because of it being slashed open, and how those cracks like lead into some of those rivets and stuff. it's a lot more complex than I thought it'd be when going into it. It's not that complex, but it's still more than I was thinking it would be. Oh, we got some Mega Man music. I think this is Boomer Kuwanger. Just trying to find every spot that I should blacken in the wood. It is better to have areas blackened than not. It serves to contrast the image and make it pop out more. Although they may already mostly be blackened from the graphite. I'd have to raise the opacity back up to 100% to see how well it looks from that end. Yeah, I recently saw the typical schedule for Oda, the guy that makes One Piece, and he spends like the entire week, every week, working on pages. It's like laying out the pencils on, I think, Monday, Tuesday, then the refining Thursday, Friday, then Saturday is like coloring, or maybe it's switched around between those two. But it's like a non-stop process of making the comic. And it's not a schedule I like to look at, because it is hell to live like that to me. But at the same time, I have to respect that kind of work from like a creator aspect of it. That's how you know that the thing is getting done, and is getting done in quite a frequent state of existence. Yeah, comic making is not at all the simplest type of life to live. And sadly, those that don't create stuff really can't understand it. But once you do, it is something that I feel you probably do admire the people that do it, even if you don't want to. Just the sacrifice you have to make for that type of creation. Yeah, I'll color this up here, although I may go back on that later depending on how it looks when I raise the opacity. Okay, that wasn't that bad. Yeah, this middle panel, not as much black on it as I thought there was gonna be, which I'm thankful for. It saves me some time. I really wish I could understand Japanese so I could understand what the creator of Keep Your Hands Off Aizuken is saying whenever he streams making his comics. I love watching him make the comics, I just wish I could understand what he's saying at times. Alright, that looks pretty good. And here's the rest of the nightmare of details that made up the page. All of these plushies scattered across the ground once the box is slashed open. There was so many of them I had to doodle. I pretty much spent all of yesterday working on this page, drawing it out and everything. We got a giant stuffed bear thing here. Some plushie guy next to it. And then smaller plushies on the ground. There's a King Shadow one here. A Barbot one over here. Another Barbot. A Mutant Kid. A Master Raster. He's one that I rarely ever put into things, but that's a rare cameo by him. Oh no, these two here, they're characters that I made up for this page. All of these plushies here, Barbot, Mutant Kid, and King Shadow, are from the Freaks, which is like the heroes and villains. The Freaks are the heroes in our time period in the comic world. King Shadow's the villain of our time period, and the Shadow tournaments are named after him. He hosted the original one back in the 2000s. Master Raster's a villain of another series I came up with, but that I haven't, like, made many materials for. He was like the villain of a 3D platformer video game series idea I had back in high school. He is he's a TV demon who lives on the planet TV Hell. I don't think that stuff ever interacted with Earth in my stuff though, so he never would have appeared in the Freaks or these Dreamscape comics or anything in Doko's time period. Just all these stuffed animals are good ways to, like, show cameos of characters from other things I've made. If I'd have to go on my DeviantArt to get some pictures of those characters. And maybe at the end I can try to get some pictures of them. But no, these people that are like, that were about to be crushed by the box they're just people attending the tournament to watch things, have a good time, and then tempt fate by being under a box that's about to crush them. But thankfully, it was mysteriously slashed in half, and the two sides fell to the sides of them. Although they probably wouldn't have been that hurt from it. Like, it'd still be boxes of wood, but since it had just plushies in it, probably wouldn't hurt as much as if it were containing other materials. Yeah, I do have to color all the eyes of the plushies, but that shouldn't be too bad. Mostly just dots. Other than Master Rasker, he has like black around the pupils, and then the pupils themselves are red. Like, sort of like Kid Buu from Dragon Ball. Oh, hey, Masasa. You done with your fishy drawings, or are you still working on those? You came just in time to see the, army of plushies fall out of the box that was about to hit these two characters. I need to fix that antenna of hers up there. I usually prefer being on the computer when compared to a phone. I know that's not always an option, but it is the one that I always like. Yeah, to give a recap, these two have been... Well, these two characters I made up for this page. That they're, like, getting plushie prizes from around the island on the break before the final match begins, and the girl ends up letting go of the cart and falling into these boxes. And it causes this one to tilt and fall towards them. And then it gets slashed in half before it hits them and falls to either side of them. Turns out all these plushies were what were inside it. Oh well, that is how babies are. They like to get to different places. Yeah, at least Lola is being a responsible mother. I'm assuming Lola is fine with you around the baby. Oh, and all of these plushies, Masasa, a lot of them are cameos of other things that I've created. King Shadow, Mutant Kid, Arbot, Master Raster, maybe Angel Amy. Just a cute little way to show cameos of other characters from other things I've made up. Or from this series itself, depending on what roles they might play in the story later. But whether they show up or not is not something that is known by the audience at this time. Oh, I think Lola is the dog. There was a horse baby and a dog baby. I think Lola's the dog. Thankfully with, even though it's not as many people as in other streams, with the amount of people that show up, and the ones that normally show up, I can usually keep better track of the smaller amount of people, like details about them, than I would with like hundreds of people on the stream. Although that would be pretty cool to see like all the like tons of people. Don't know how well I'd manage that though. But hopefully we get there and see what it's like. Oh no, I didn't share any details about any of the animals or anything, Bowyer. I'm assuming Misasa saw something that was said in the Discord or something. Oh well, whatever you want to ask about the fish people, Misasa, go right ahead. I came up with a bit of a story of them last night. Yeah, those fish people exist in the 2300s, Misasa. And I did not realize until today that lines up with around the time the comics probably take place. But they're two separate universes, so they have, like, no relation to each other. Yeah, Misasa pays attention and remembers certain things. Other things just slip out of her head, but there are things that she will preserve in her thoughts. I used to be better at remembering things, but ever since whatever I have in my body, that's just been deteriorating over the years. Yeah, I set the fish people story in the 2300s because that's when some scientists theorized that the aquatic life of Earth might start dying off from, like, the climate changes and everything that's going on. Let's seem like it'd be the best near-apocalypse scenario for the story. Although that's not going to be too noticeable as the reason why it's set then until, like, later on. And whether or not it even be, like, revealed that it is that far into the future, that, like, in the first story is up for debate right now. Oh, hey, Shadow, how are you doing today? We're just in here talking about horses and dogs and the fish people and all that stuff. We've been going for about an hour and 20 minutes now while I've been doing the blacks for this page. I guess I'll show all this again. We got these two characters that I made up for this page. They're on the outskirts of the island, collecting plushie prizes from the games of the festival. And the girl ends up letting go by accident and falling into these boxes which tip and fall to crush them. But then it mysteriously gets slashed in half and it ends up falling to either side of them. And it turns out that all that's inside the box anyway is all these plushies that fall out, which are a lot of them are references to other characters I've made. There's King Shadow, Barbot, Mutant Kid, maybe Angel Amy, and Master Raster. Yeah, that's what I've been working on. Oh, see, now you are a complete master at beating hi-fi. I figured you were gonna be able to do it. You just needed to take a little break. And Masasa here has been drawing all sorts of the fish people that I made up last night for those that future Aqua world type of idea. And set that story in the 2300s, which I didn't realize is probably around the time of the comics take place, but it's a completely separate universe, so it's like unrelated. But I set it in that time period because that is when some scientists theorize marine life on Earth is going to start dying off from, like, the climate and stuff. And Masasa has just been doodling all sorts of those people in that story. Not characters, because there's, like, not really any characters, just, like, fish people from those ideas. And I've got a nice Thai tea here to keep me hydrated. Got it from the Thai place I walk to sometimes. The best way I can describe it is it tastes kind of like if you made a milkshake out of tea. Not sure how to describe it otherwise, but that seems like an odd way to say what it's like. But it tastes yummy. And I believe we have Boomer Kowanger from Mega Man playing. I don't know. I used to listen to this soundtrack so much while I drew. The Horse Master. Yeah. I've actually only ever played Street Fighter 2. It is a fun game, but I haven't really kept up with that series. And if I did, I'd have no way to play Street Fighter 6, because I don't got a modern system. I think the latest one I have is my brother's Wii U. And that has no... They've obviously moved on from that. Oh no, I do have a Xbox One, but I have only turned it on a handful of times. I mostly just use that to play the Rare Replay collection, like the Banjo-Kazooie games and Jet Force Gemini. Always love those. I never really thought about it, but Barbot here, his design has like the 3 vents along the side of the head that Bumblebee in Animated does. I made Barbot up like decades before I saw Animated Bumblebee though, so it's just a coincidence that they have the same features. Barbot can play DVDs in this little pop-up area in his head. Bumblebee can't do that. I do remember Mega Man X. Mega Man X1 has the Hadouken from Street Fighter as a secret unlockable weapon. And then Mega Man X2 as the Shoryuken. Then in X4, a boss uses both of those as attacks. And I remember the hologram of Dr. Light that teaches X the Hadouken. It actually has, like, Ryu's outfit. Instead of, like, Light wearing his normal lab coat, he has a headband and, like, the Ryu robes and stuff. It's pretty hilarious. The Hadouken kills every single boss in one hit, but you need to have, like, all of your, like, energy or your life points, all of your life points to use it. If you get hit once, you cannot use the Hadouken. You use it the same way as in Street Fighter, though. It's down, forward, B. Oh, What music's coming on next? Think it's Chill Penguin? Let's listen. Yep, that's Chill Penguin. I knew that one. I think in Resident Evil 3 Remake, yeah, I think that's the one. You can see posters around Raccoon City that are advertising a debate between two scientists that's coming up. And it's Dr. Light and Dr. Wily from the Mega Man games that are on the poster. So, Light and Wily in Resident Evil universe confirmed. For those of you that have not played Mega Man X, if you ever do, start with Chill Penguin. That is the easiest boss in the game. Yeah. Bardock probably knows how that goes. Yeah, the sophisticated, intellectual fighter, apparently. Nah. It's always humorous seeing the complete opposite of what characters normally are. Depictions of them as, like, a fighter if they're smart, or very studious if they're super muscular and stuff. Although for Invader Zim, Professor Membrane is pretty dangerous no matter what. It was pretty damn awesome when he actually started helping out in the movie. You get to see the robot arms on him and stuff. The thing with that was, the most hilarious thing about all that to me with Professor Membrane in the movie is if he can do all the stuff that he does there, he could probably single-handedly wipe out the Irken Armada if he actually bothered to believe anything Dib says. Which is probably part of the joke, but it's like, you have all this evidence right in front of your face, and you could fix everything at any time. But you're just, no, that's not real science. Just ridiculous. I remember in the comics, there's an alternate timeline that Dib and Zim wind up in where Zim has taken over the Earth. And, Dib's dead, but, Professor Membrane, he left a message behind saying that, he was able to save him and his daughter, but his insane son, sadly, did not make it or something, and Professor Membrane just basically turned him and Gaz into energy that's spread out across the universe to survive on as. You do eventually get to see that Dib's remains, though, because Future Zim locked Dib up in, like, the chamber that that version of Dib was being held in, and you can see his skeleton hanging on the wall and stuff. And the big hair that comes off of Dib's head, the skeleton for some reason has a bone for that sliver of hair, which is like just as great as Ed in Ed and Eddie having a bone for his like eyebrow when he gets shocked that one time. There's a few different alternate universes you get to see in the comics of Invader Zim. Oh, we're on the last few panels here now. I think I have all the comics of Dragon Ball that Bardock has made appearances in, except for Super stuff. Because I don't have any of Super, but I have... There was only one time where Bardock appeared in the comic of Dragon Ball. That was just Frieza remembering when he destroyed Planet Vegeta. And the Bardock being there was just them, Toriyama referencing the, like, special that they made of Bardock. Because the special had come out by the point that he made that part of the comic. So he just threw that in there as a reference to that. And then I have Jocko, the Galactic Patrolman, which at the end, for the physical release, they include Dragon Ball Minus, which has the new version of Bardock. And shows, like, him sending Goku to Earth and stuff. And that's all the stuff I got of Bardock. That great Saiyan scientist. Yeah, this is the last appearance of the girl with the antenna coming off of her hair. Still not sure why I gave her an antenna, but she's got one. Oh, if I ever end up, like, passing before any of you, Shadow, you are free to have some of my Dragon Ball Gashapons, because I'm sure you're the one that would appreciate them the most out of the people on the Discord. Yeah. Actually, I ended up passing before any of you. Yeah, you can probably have, like, copies of the manga that I have of Dragon Ball. I have, like, all of the Kanzenban up to, I think I got a bit into the start of Namek. I know I've got them fighting Vegeta and beating him. I don't think I have Raditz. I think I have everything up to the end of Piccolo Jr. in the Kanzenban. And then it skips to parts of the Saiyan Saga and parts of Namek. And then I have a volume where the Supreme Kai first shows up at the 25th World Martial Arts Tournament, Tenkaichi Budokai. For the Soshuhen release, I have the Pilaf Saga, the Red Ribbon Saga, I think. No. Pilaf, maybe Red Ribbon, and then Piccolo Daimyo, and the 22nd Tenkaichi Budokai, where Ten Shinhan and Chaozu first appear. Oh, it's more than just back pain, Shadow. It's, back pain is not as prevalent of a thing as some of the other symptoms. But, yeah, I've thought about maybe it being cancer at times, but they were never able to find cancer years ago when I'd go and check. They just say, oh, we can't find anything wrong, here's some pills. That's pretty much how it always went. No, it feels more like something to do with probably epididymitis, prostate area, and then, well, nowadays it's like sometimes causing the heart, it feels like, to beat differently, but that's very rare. I am not as good at remembering things now as I had been when I first got here, so I assume it's maybe affecting the brain a bit. It's, sometimes I'll walk into rooms now and not know why I came there, and things like that. But I'm still going, so we keep making the comic. Oh, I wouldn't worry too much about it, Shadow. It takes a bit to break the human body entirely. Humans are pretty good at surviving stuff at times. Yeah. You get used to the pain a bit over the years. I would definitely go to the doctor by this point, but I never have money, so that kinda cancels that out. Yeah, it would be nice to get to see any success I might have. Still not sure if I ever will have that, but if it happens, it'd be nice to see. If I don't see it, though, what matters is that it did happen, and the stories did get told and drawn and everything. Everyone had a good time. As long as I'm here, I'm gonna be making stuff. Yeah, I was hoping to get things like published or the remakes at least started and maybe get money from that, but with how long this issue's taken, it's taken a while to get to that point, and there's no guarantee that enough people would even, like, purchase things in the first place. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully I can get some sort of funding at some point. Keep the body maintained long enough to get things made and stuff. I do need to get to work on your patron sketch for this month. I keep meaning to get to it, but then I realize, oh, I'm behind schedule on the animation now. And oh no, now I need to do the comic again, and it just keeps going like that. But I am going to get to it, as usual. I do not intend to leave things hanging there. Oh, I did mention Amphibia earlier. How it probably would have been better on Adult Swim, being allowed to do everything they want to do for each scene instead of being restricted by the age rating. Oh, I appreciate the leniency from you, Shadow. There is many people who would be expecting things right away. And you probably are the most helpful of the supporters, since you are the patron that I have. I have had another patron at a couple of other points, but when they join, they only do it for like 1 month, so it's not a constant thing from them. An adult-rated Amphibia would be great, is what it'd be. You'd be allowed to give the full implications on certain jokes and stuff like that. You'd have the full impact of those scenes that are more dangerous to actually be allowed to be shown. There wouldn't be just like silhouettes with no blood and stuff. Blood isn't necessary for scenes, but at more dire times it does help to emphasize the exciting danger of the situation. It's part of why I prefer the Japanese versions of the Mega Man Zero games. In the Mega Man Zero games, you play as Zero, who has a sword, and the Reploids, which are like the robot people of the series, the ones that are against you, in the English version, you just cut them, they explode and stuff. But in the Japanese version, like, you can use a gun to shoot things, but if you use your sword in the Japanese version, every time you cut an enemy, red liquid will come out of them, and it makes it feel more intense to me. Yeah, if you're just using blood, though, just to have blood, to, like, say that, oh, this is adult and stuff, it's just annoying. But, if you do it with, like, artistic intent, I guess you would say, it makes it feel better to me in those more dangerous circumstances. Yeah, technically they're robot people, so it's not technically blood, but you know what it's supposed to be. And for the final boss of the Mega Man Zero games, it might actually be blood, because he was human at one point. In the Japanese version, it's more... In the English version, it's pretty decisive that he is fully mechanical by that point. But in the Japanese version, with the way it's worded, it feels a bit more to me like it might be saying he's maybe a cyborg. He could be a cyborg, or he could be fully robotic by that point. But, there's a scene where he, like, transforms for the final boss fight. And in the Japanese, like, in the scene, there's all these pipes that are slamming into his back from the, like, space station they're on, and he's merging with the core. And in the Japanese version, blood just goes flying everywhere out of his back at that part, which just looks so horrible, because the way he's talking, he's in obvious pain from it, but he's a villain, he's gonna try to kill everyone, so that's what villains do. I would assume that my soothing voice may have something to do with your sleepy nature right now, Masasa. Just enjoy the relaxing, melodious sounds I produce and drift off into sleep. I have wanted to animate that final fight of Mega Man 04 for so long. I actually attempted to start doing it back when I was using paper and pencil for my animations, but I never got far at all with that. But I'd use the, it's on the Game Boy Advance, so there's, like, no big amounts of talking on it, but Capcom came out with Japanese, like, CDs that have parts of the series narrated by the voice actors. And fun fact, the villain is voiced by Dr. Eggman's voice actor in Japanese. He always does villain voices, but it's something I have always wanted to animate, and it's such a great ending. But yeah, the guy, when the pipes are slamming into his back, in the CD, he is obviously in pain and stuff when he's, like, saying that part of his lines. I'd probably animate him with, like, blood coming out of his mouth as he's speaking at that part. Oh, well. A meeting of the different fishy. Two creators, fish people, coming together. Masasa makes all types of different animal-type people. Yeah, they call that villain in Mega Man 04. Well, he's in 3 and 4. Technically, he's the villain of the entire series with what's revealed about him later on. But, he is... In English, he is Dr. Weil. But in Japanese, he is Dr. Vile. Or Vileka. And they renamed him in English because there is a character that they renamed to Vile in English in Mega Man X. So, can't have two of the same guys. Mega Man Zero was supposed to be the main character of Mega Man X, but the person that was like running things at that part of Capcom at the time said that he looked cool, but where's Mega Man, basically. So an idea they had for a new Mega Man design, kind of, was what they went with. Oh, well, that whole debacle on Bionicle, that made things confusing for me for a while when I was younger, because I was so used to calling the villagers Tohunga in Bionicle. That's what I still usually think of when I think of the villagers, is the name Tohunga. But yeah, they had to change that, and the spelling of other characters like Huki, instead of being H-U-K-I, was changed to H-E-W-K-I-I. Jala became Jaller, all that stuff. In my Bionicle stuff, whenever I draw the, like, McDonald's body for the Matoran, I still call those body the Tohunga body when I, like, write about them on sheets and stuff. To, like, just have a, Sorry, this was, messing up slightly. Just to have a differentiation between that body and the later Matoran body from the Borak Kal onwards. I always liked the story implication that they obviously, the Turaga, obviously became, well, modified the Matoran with the Borak body parts. Oh, you're fine, Handgun. We're just getting things work done on the latest comic page. Oh, I could draw a Mario game Aquamarine, and welcome to the stream, both of you. But right now I am working on my comic page, so I can't really doodle a Mario thing at the moment. If you want, I do have Mario stuff you can look at on the DeviantArt, or you can go on the Discord and I can post stuff there for you. Although I'd probably have to wait until I'm done streaming to post there, but that is always an option. I did, well, I still plan to, remake the, Mario Brothers arcade game, like, animation-wise. I got Mario done and the Shell Creeper animations, but haven't had the time to go and work on that since like a few years ago. Yeah. I'm not really sure what my favorite Mario game. Oh, I think we got Flame Mammoth playing now. I think my favorite Mario game might be Sunshine, maybe? Maybe Sunshine, maybe Galaxy. Mario 64 is fun, but it was always kinda just too basic to me. Especially when compared to other platformers back then. Like, I know it was before them, but Crash Bandicoot and Banjo-Kazooie, those are usually my go-to platformers for that era. Yeah, Mario 64 is a great time. But what I wish they would do is release a proper port or remaster of Super Mario 64 DS. Like, there is no reason that should not be available all the time. And give it, like, rework the controls to actually work with an analog stick, instead of having it set to the D-pad controls, but with the option to use analog. That is just annoying control-wise. But I was so happy to see, like, an actual remake of that game and having the characters and all that stuff. Super Mario World's always a great time. I love it, but I don't think I ever considered it the best. I think my favorite of the 2D Marios was Yoshi's Island, since that is Super Mario World, I think 2? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was 2. I still haven't seen the new movie of Mario. I was surprised they actually used Spike the Foreman in that. I have not seen him in years. It looks completely different, but just even using that character is a surprise. And then seeing all the Donkey Kong characters was completely unexpected. You got the whole DK crew in the stands there. Although for that era of Donkey Kong, it felt less to me like he was a Mario character, and more like he was a Rare character that happened to stop by the Mario universe on occasion. Because it felt more like he'd be more fitting to show up in Banjo-Kazooie and Conquer and stuff with how things were being done back then. Oh, Spike the Foreman is, he was from... what game was it? It was a game where Mario and Luigi, it was back in the 80s, they were construction workers, and he was like the only other character in the game. I forget if he was like the villain or if he was like an ally character. That's where Spike comes from. He's called, in Japanese, he's called Blackie, I think. But they're changing it now so that he's Spike over there as well. So I guess now he's just Spike. So he's Spike all around. And I hear now Nintendo might be making more movies about their characters. What I've always wanted is a Sonic movie that, like, follows how the games do it. And so far, pretty much no adaptation has done, Sonic how the games did it, from how I see it. The closest you got was Sonic X, and even that was not the best at times when it came to, like, doing it properly. It got it the most accurate, but not enough, and the animation is garbage at times in that show. Oh, well, I would say it's good that Nintendo does their own studio, but at the same time, it's kind of odd that they don't already have that with how big they are. I mean, I know they haven't been doing movies, but it's just, you'd expect the Disney of video games to already have a hand in that stuff. But Nintendo hasn't always made the most logical decisions to me at times. Oh yeah, the people making the Mario movie definitely knew the history of the franchise. And with how loose Mario is with, like, canonicity and stuff, and the storyline, you can pretty much just throw in whatever character you want from any era into a new thing with him. And I will say Jack Black is a lot better as Bowser than I would have thought he would be. Jack Black's always fun, but do not see him as Bowser. That was just kind of what when that first showed up. Oh, well, I didn't know that the Sonic guys were opening their own studio. And now they don't have Jim Carrey as Robotnik anymore, as he is done doing movies apparently. Honestly, I was not looking forward to Jim Carrey as Robotnik, because whenever Jim Carrey shows up, it's typically just Jim Carrey playing Jim Carrey to me. But he did a surprisingly good job as Robotnik. Like, he got a bit too Jim Carrey-esque in a few scenes, but aside from that, he was great as Robotnik. Like, the whole... him and, like, Stone offering him steamed goat milk, and he's like, of course I want a latte. I love the way you make them. And he's like horribly angry, but at the same time complimenting him. It's like, that is amazing. Oh, the Sonic movies, did I like them? I actually haven't seen one all the way through, but I've seen parts of them. And they're good. They're Sonic. Like, it's not the best thing ever, but it's more than I could have asked for from the attempts that they'd done before. It is pretty nice. Sonic's a bit too innocent feeling to me in it, but aside from that, it does get the characters pretty good. Tails is the good old, I'm the smart guy. Knuckles is the best he's been in years in the movies. Like, the games had a horrible record for just making him stupider and stupider. And the movie ends up doing it like how it was originally done, where he only doesn't understand things because he didn't grow up in society. That's like, the movie does that perfectly, because he is arrogant and thick-headed, but that's only because of his job and, like, not knowing stuff about society. I have seen, like, the majority of Sonic 2, the movie. So, I know all about Super Sonic and how it seemed like they were doing Enerjack as the backstory for the Emeralds in the movies. But, and I have seen the after-credits scene of Shadow and everything. Which I am a bit confused about how they're going to handle Shadow, since, in the movies, it's a completely separate world that the Sonic characters are from. Why would Gerald have made Shadow as a humanoid hedgehog instead of a human? But, we'll get to that when we get to that, so... yeah. Overall, though, the Sonic movies seem like they've been pretty decent. And I think we've got all the blacks. No, here we go. We gotta blacken the eye of the plushie here. Yeah, the best video game movie ever to me. Well, the best one ever is Wreck-It Ralph. That's amazing, but that's not like real video game character. Other than that, though, yeah, it's hard to say, since, everyone knows how video game movies have mostly been handled throughout history. All the Uwe Bulls and, Paul Andersons. Oh, I know! The Sonic OVA! The 90s anime Sonic movie, quote-unquote. It wasn't really designed as a movie, it was designed as 2 episodes to, like, test how an audience might receive a Sonic anime back then. Apparently it didn't do well enough, because no series was made, but that OVA is, like, the best Sonic, probably, animation ever. Oh, are you talking about Wart? from Super Mario World, or Super Mario Bros. 2, the American one. Yeah, well, that was Wart. He was the villain of what was it? The what game? Because that version of Mario 2 was not a Mario game originally. In Japan, it came out as no, not Doki Doki Panic. Or was it? Was that Doki Doki Panic? I know there's... I don't think that's... No. Yeah, no, I keep getting it mixed up with Doki Doki Literature Club, which is a completely different thing. It was Doki Doki Panic. And then, the Super Mario Brothers that came out in Japan was too hard for the guy that was, like, judging the Nintendo games when they came to America. So they turned Doki Doki Panic, which was like a platformer advertising a festival that had cartoon characters in Japan. They turned that into Super Mario Brothers 2 in America, because it was an easier game. And they added in, like, I think Wart was part of Doki Doki Panic. But since he was, like, in the original game, they reused him as the villain for Super Mario Bros. 2. And yeah, all the Shy Guys and stuff, that all comes from Doki Doki Panic. So technically, Shy Guys and things in that game are from a completely different project than Mario, but they've been, like, adopted into the Mario universe as, like, staple things of Mario. But yeah, it'd be nice to see Wart show up. That'd be cool. Okay, let's see. Do I have everything blackened that needs to be blackened? Yeah, let's make this one black, just to add some contrast. Or wait. No, it'd be these, from this angle is where the shadow would be. Okay. I am not starving for once. Which I'm afraid now that I've said that, my stomach will start growling, but I should be okay for now. Had that muffin at Joseph Beth earlier. And like a piece of toast within a, what are they called? Like when you cook the egg on both sides in the skillet. Or had that with some spaghetti sauce on the toast. And I have my Thai tea here, which is far better than that herbal tea thing that Mom left here from that I was having the other week. Yeah, I was wanting to get a chocolate muffin because I like the chocolate muffins they make, but since they didn't have those today, I ended up getting a lemon poppy seed, which was my favorite when I was little. Mom would always make those in the oven. Oh, and I do apologize if the Doki Doki Panic Mario segment there was irksome at all. I was just getting into the, trying to remember how things went production-wise and stuff for that. Once I get into thinking about something, it'll just lead into me constantly questioning things until my head gets it right. The Sonic games, Sonic 2 initially was going to have time traveling in it. That ended up in Sonic CD, though. Sonic 2 was gonna be a giant project. It was a giant project, but things changed in development, and did not get the time travel adventure they were going to do originally. I think Chemical Plant was like in the future. Metropolis Zone, I think, was the future version of Wood Zone. Yeah, it'd have all sorts of different types of different versions of the levels depending on the time period you're in. Yeah. Oh. Well, let's make this one black. Gotta fill in the crack there to show that it's a 3D crack and not just a 2D image. Okay. Am I done? Okay. Oh, and this little shopping cart here is like the coverings for tank treads on it. Just sort of shows the variety in devices and stuff in the vehicles types in the future. But it's also just like, it's so far in the future that's just an excuse to throw in whatever cool thing you can think of. Yeah, I think we got all the blacks done. Alright. Maybe... Here we go. There we go. Okay. So we save this. Yeah, we can pull his shoulder out a bit. Okay. And get rid of that. And zoom into 200. Oh no. 200 magnification. Actually, how magnified can this get? Oh my lord. Holy hell. 25,600 magnification. What is... Oh my god. That is that is just, like, the smallest dot that I can make. Okay, zoom out to... Okay, there's the size we'll be working at. That was... That gets pretty zoomed in. That is my curiosity quenched on the matter. Oh, Armored Armadillo is playing now? So, are you guys drawing anything right now? I know you were doing fishies, Masasa, which I'm sure I'll see after the stream is done. Yeah, I was thinking, Shadow, of how a series, like a animated series of your stuff might look. It would take a ton of effort, but it would be a neat little thing. Yeah, the whole Roger Rabbit bonkers scenario. Oh, some fan art of someone else's stuff. You were drawing for quite a bit the other week, Handgun. I was figuring you were probably on break after that. Just so that I know that I have things straight in my head still. You were Pumpkin on Game Facts, right, Handgun? I'm pretty sure that's what you went by there. Well, I'm sure you could pull off, some form of justice to the Roger Rabbit, Shadow. Depending on, who you ask, that, the Rescue Rangers movie was attempting to do that. I don't think it came off as good, though. It felt like they were just sort of cashing in on doing revival-type stuff, but not doing it as faithfully as other things do revival things. Well, technically, when you get into how animation goes, it all depends on who is doing the animation and what effort they're putting into it. Because you can have just as fluid of animation in any era. It just depends on how much work is put into it. It's like, there are certain trends that art styles tend to follow, but at the end of the day, it is the individual's choice. But yeah, mixing the different styles is always a balancing act that, when it comes to big groups that, like, are done by companies and stuff, they generally do not take the care that they need to emulate the looks correctly. And then on top of that, either don't care or don't know about that stuff to begin with. All they see is, these characters can make us money, so let's do something with them. The animation is part of why I do not like the 2012 Ninja Turtles shows, the 3D one, when they do the crossover with, like, the original 80s, 90s cartoon Turtles, because they animate them so horribly in the, like, 2D segments. That is, like, they do it purposefully at times to make fun of how bad the animation was, but it wasn't as bad as they're presenting it, and it just is irritating to look at. Whereas, like, in Turtles Forever, the crossover movie with the 2003 Turtles, they animate them beautifully, and that is how they were animated in, like, the first season and stuff, which is great. But it's like, I never care for when they do bad animation simply to poke fun at the past stuff. Yeah, just a little nitpick of mine. Oh, you guys have posted a lot of messages here. Just a second. Valier, okay. Unique Spider-Verse. Greek animation style, person, money, yep, blah blah. They use Flash animation. Okay, I'm all caught up. But yeah, the dip in quality for the 2D segments in that Turtles, the 3D one, is very noticeable. But yeah, Penny Parker, she was actually animated differently, if I remember correctly, in Spider-Verse, which was, like, purposefully done to emulate the more anime style that she was trying to present for it. In the comics, she looks older, because she was, like, I think she was made by, what was it? It's not Gurren Lagann. Is it... What's the thing with Ava units and stuff? I know the name, but I can't think of it. But I think she was made by that guy. Like, he was doing a version of Spider-Man, and that's where she comes from, and that's why she has the mech that she has. And she was drawn more like people in that anime, in the comic. Oh yeah, Spider-Ham looked like a proper cartoon character in 3D, which is hardly ever done correctly, but he nailed that. Growing up, I was always, like, perplexed by there being a Spider-Ham. It just seemed completely random to me. I remember someone doing a picture of, like, all the different spider people on Miles's wall when the roommate turns around, and someone did a Sonic version of it where it had like Amy as Spider-Gwen and Tails as Miles and stuff. And you had, I think it was Adventures of Cartoon Sonic was Spider-Ham. And I remember I wrote a comment of, cartoon hedgehogs don't talk in this universe, right? I don't want to freak them out. Thought that was a cute little thing to put there. Yeah, everybody in Spider-Ham's universe is an animal. I can't remember what Gwen was. I think she might have been a bird of some sort. Yeah, growing up in the, like, seeing the old Spider-Man cartoon, and also having the original comics, I was always confused why Gwen Stacy never showed up in the 90s cartoon. She shows up in, like, the final episode, but that's an alternate universe. But, like, in the comics, she's the first real girlfriend Peter ever has. Like, there's Betty Brant, and there's, what's the other one? I should know the name. It's the girl that's always, like, going between him and Flash. And, there were those two, but they weren't, like, real girlfriends to him. It was more of, oh, I could be with them, but, the cheerleader girl is always, she's just playing between the two boys, and Betty is, like, has the whole Ned Leeds thing going on and stuff. And it wasn't until Gwen that he had, like, an actual girl that was, like, trying to be with him. And Mary Jane was introduced after that, but she and Gwen were sort of rivals in that regard afterwards. And then Gwen died, so that solved everything, I guess. I actually can't remember who Spider Noir was in the, that Sonic picture. I think, yeah, it might have been Shadow. That'd make the most sense. Yeah, I was very confused when Deadpool first showed up. I kept thinking, why does Spider-Man have a new outfit? And why does it look so plain? Because that's who I thought Deadpool was when I saw the pictures and stuff. Comics. Steve Ditko, John Romita. Excelsior and whatnot. Yeah, DC never appealed to me as much with the comics as the Marvel stuff did. And primarily it was Spider-Man was the most stuff I liked about comics. Oh, how I wish, I wish Petronius had not taken or made his Spider-Man reviews unable to be seen. Those were some of my favorite videos of his. I remember he at least did one of them. I think he did two. Yeah. Deadpool is a Spider-Man lookalike and a Slade clone. I never cared as much for Teen Titans except in the cartoon, actually. Comics I was not all that into, unless it was comics of the cartoon, because the cartoon was the best version to me. Yeah, I'm always trying to save videos now in case people take down ones that I like. I've got all of Radical Soda's after he got rid of a lot of his old ones. But I didn't see a lot of the old ones. Like, they were like really old ones for him. Been trying to keep track of some of Doug TenNaples' stuff, but he seems to have mostly fallen off of the stuff that I liked watching about him. So it's not as much of a priority now. I got what I need from him if he keeps continuing as he is. Or what I could get from him. There is stuff that is just lost forever at this point. Oh no. No, that's lost. Sorry, Shadow. It's an unfortunate casualty. I do have, like, I have hundreds of his videos, I think. Actually, I can just pull it up right now and check. What do I got here? Okay, get into the hard drive. Reviews. I hate everything. Video game. Ant Dude, Boundary Break, Classic Game and Console, Gaming Historian, Space Hamster, some call me Radical Soda, Video Game. Oh, well, there he is. Radical Soda. Oh, it doesn't say how many files. Oh, okay. Yeah, there it is. Wait, no, that's just saying the file. Oh wait, I can just click on the folder. What am I doing? Okay. Okay, yeah, I have 110 videos of Radical Soda on my computer. My god. Dear Lord. Am I ever gonna watch all of these? How many are Petronius? 16 videos of Petronius. That's sad. 151 videos of just generic reviews from, like, whoever that are just in the folder of reviews. Video game ones, anyway. Yeah, I got, toy reviews. Jobby the Hong, of course. 261 videos, my god. Comic reviews? Sonic comic reviews. Alright. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, no, I try to keep things preserved. It is such a shame to lose stuff. Yeah, earlier on, there was always a sense that once it was on the internet, it would be there forever, but, that's not necessarily the case, unless there is some, like, massive operation to keep every video that gets uploaded preserved by YouTube. But if there is that, no one has access to it and it's some secret project. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, and I would hope that's the case, but part of me doubts it at this point. Yeah, I've seen videos that people probably should not see before they get taken down before. But, like, I've seen people die on camera and stuff, but those videos, like, automatically get taken down once they get noticed. Stuff that, probably should not be shown to the public. I remember the other year, I was still in Iowa, I think, there was, this guy that was trying to prove the Earth was flat. And he and his group had, constructed a rocket before to, like, go up and prove that there is, like, no curve to the Earth or whatever. And he ended up crashing, and that, like, broke his legs and stuff. And then they did it again. Like, they built another homemade rocket, and they were, like, all filming, and that one crashed, and he died. And, like, it was on camera, and I saw that the night that they were doing it, because it was like, what is this? What is going on here? What is this idiocy? And, yeah, he died. And the next day, that video was gone. I'm not sure you can find... Like, there were different recordings of that event that night, and I saw multiple, like, recordings of it. But I don't know if you can see those now. I know the ones that I saw are gone. But, yeah. No, it's, there is no limit to human stupidity. It's quite amazing to behold some of the stuff people do. But that's humanity. If there is a stupid will, there is a way. Yeah, then there's just creators that make fun videos that they probably later on feel embarrassed by, so they take them down. But it is always a shame for those that like those videos that never get to see those videos again. I've tried to collect up Cloud8745's old Let's Plays, but so many of those are just gone at this point after, like, I think he did a different channel and stuff, and some people have certain Let's Plays of his saved, but some of them are just gone. I have a couple of his Team Fortress 2 videos, but the rest of that for Team Fortress 2, you can't find it anymore, I don't think. Oh, you missed someone dying from trying to prove the Earth was flat failure. I was recounting one of the videos that I'd seen over the years that's, like, got immediately taken down. Yeah, it was this guy and his group trying to prove the Earth was flat, so they made a homemade rocket to shoot him up and, like, prove that there's, like, no curve to the Earth, and it ended up crashing and he died. And I saw the video of that when that was happening, and the next day the video was gone. So that is an instance of videos that are not preserved, and yeah. Well, Handgun, I hope you have had a fun time here, enjoying this ongoing, endless, armored armadillo music in the background. I do hope you have some good times today, and sit back and relax, maybe watch a movie or video. I'm going to finish this up, and, yeah. After that, who knows? Maybe, I'll get recognized as a, great individual artist, and someone will offer me a $1 million commission. That's the dream. Any black up here to fill in? Not up there. And I appreciate that, Shadow. There is not a day that goes by where I am thankful for your acknowledgement. You are probably the one that I think of the most when I think of people that support the stuff I make. And you do have your name in the back of the previous comic issue. And as long as you're being your patron self, you're always gonna be in the special thanks in the back of the book. Although when the final comic is done, I imagine I'll put plenty of names in there, both of people that have supported it over the years and of people I've interacted with over the years. Although there will be another person that'll be joining you in the back of this comic. The only other patron I have sometimes. Temporary patronage, but still patronage, so they deserve it. Well, it is a bonus that I appreciate all the same. Well, I'm happy you enjoy the work I do. It is always magical to me seeing things getting created, but since it's me, like when I watch myself make stuff, it's not as magical as watching other people that I admire making stuff. But it's good that someone gets some sort of that sense from me. It does make me feel kinda nice. Yeah, the ones I love seeing work are like, I love seeing Yoji Shinkawa do stuff. Amano's always great. A lot of the Japanese ones are pretty nice. There's some American comic artists I like worth watching. Frank Miller does some pretty nice ones when he's like doing it on video. I've seen John Romita, I've seen him do it in like on video, and that's pretty cool. I think I've seen Jack Kirby do it on video, but I can't remember what it was like. Although it's a lot rarer to get someone like him on video given the time period and priorities of what is valuable to record back then. And there goes Armored Armadillo. Oh, now we're on to some Bomberman track. Red Mountain from Bomberman 64. Yeah, Bomberman 64 had music that just captured the feel of every environment so perfectly. And triumphant ambiance of the Red Mountain and the sprinkling feeling of the snowfall in White Mountain. Or, no, White Snow, I think it was. And then the sort of European sound of Blue Resort. Then Black Fortress was just all technological sounding. I'm pretty sure it was called Black Fortress because the color black is like representative of evil in Japan. It's pretty much, if you ever need to call something evil in Japanese stuff, it's like blah 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 or so-and-so black is like the name of them. It's like why Goku Black is called Goku Black. It's basically evil Goku is all it is. I think it also is like a representation of death, though, is what the color black is. It's like evil and death is what it is. Then the track starts over. Yeah, I think, it wasn't the first time that I knew of, like, black being the color of, like, evil in Japanese stuff, but it is, like, one of the most prominent times I remember thinking about it was, in Super Sentai, the very first show from back in the 70s. Their enemies are part of the Black Cross Empire, which is obviously the evil Cross Empire. I think the villain is called Black Cross. He sort of becomes the embodiment of what evil is as the franchise goes on, I think. Although he doesn't, like, really make an appearance after the first show until, like, an anniversary thing way later. Do I have all the blacks filled in? I can't. No. Yeah, I still have all this up here. Gotta get the claws hat. The claw. And all these over here. The wheels of the tank shopping cart. I debated about calling him just the Claw, because when I hear the word claw, well, the first thing I think of is the Claw from Ed, Edd and Eddy, which is just Ed going, "Only the Claw knows." But after that, I always think of Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget. But the Claw ended up being what I went with for the character here, because both because of the appearance and because of other story-related reasons, which will become clearer as it goes on. And it does just sound cool, so there is that. All this area to fill in. Is the price you pay for making comics the way I do? Oh, well, you haven't missed too much, Ballier. I mentioned, we talked about the magic of watching people make stuff, like art and stuff, and I mentioned, like, Amano and Yoji Shinkawa as artists I like to watch for that. And we got into, like, the Claw, his name, and me using it, like, naming him that just because it sounded cool. I think that's about all you really missed. Other than that, it's just been me going... That's about it. And I hope everything's going alright with your dad. Getting work done and whatnot. Okay. Have that. Have that. Have all that. Get this piece. It's like a game. A Where's Waldo of just white lines everywhere. Okay. Up. Do we got it? Do we got it? I think we got it. Okay, yes, we got all the black. So, let's turn this back on and raise the opacity back up. And zoom on in to make sure that everything is lining up. Edge that out. That. Uh-oh, no. That is the wrong layer. Was starting to erase the panel line. Do not want that. There we go. That's better. Oh! Well, Chinese food sounds good. What all are you having? General So? Oh, I need to get rid of that piece there. Come on. There we go. Ah. There we go. Now back to the black stuff. Okay, now I am getting hungry. Like out of nowhere. Hold on. Why is the ground so high up there? That's weird. Well, let's even this out. Well, I do hope that goldfish is nice and cheesy, assuming it's the crackers. Assuming it's the actual creature, I do hope it is not too morally conflicting. Well, I last ate, when I went out to Joseph Beth this morning and get that muffin. That's mostly what I've had today is the muffin. After this, I was going to get a bowl of spaghetti ready. Technically, I had 3/4 or more like 3/5 of the muffin. I still have part of it left over. Get this. Maybe get that. I think this is mostly looking good. Well, I'll get to the sustenance eventually. Gotta get work done first. Oh. Well, they must love shrimp then. I know I like shrimp. Shrimp is probably... I love shrimp and salmon. But when it comes to like seasonings for rice, like the shakers that have like bits of fish and stuff in them that you can shake onto rice, I prefer the shrimp over the salmon. I prefer salmon as a meal, but I prefer the flavor of shrimp when it's like not a big meal, I think is the best way to describe that. Okay. Alright. Let's get the mouth there. Close teeth. Yeah, I think I weigh 139 pounds. last I checked. Ba-dum-ba-dum. I guess you people are some of the only people on the internet that probably know what I look like. I have pictures on, like 2 pictures of me on DeviantArt, but those are from years ago, and people generally haven't looked at those. I like spring rolls in egg rolls if it has Chinese mustard, the hot mustard. Don't put a lot on, just a tiny, tiny bit. But that's what I prefer to have for, like, the dipping sauce of egg rolls and spring rolls. Very spicy, but makes it taste nice. Wait a second. Did I? Oh no, that's right. I was thinking the ground that I was thinking was misleveled might have been her arm. But no, it's just messing up the ground elevation, I think. Okay. Alright. And so, let us add these stars. Stars to the nighttime sky. It'll be nice when I'm not doing, like, a nighttime setting anymore. It takes a lot more work to, like, color in the sky each panel. Then put in the, like, stars and everything on top of all that. There we go. Stars, stars, stars. Every time I think of stars, I just think of Nemesis from Resident Evil. That's the word it would always say every time you ran into it. One of the few monsters in the classic games to say anything. Come on. I guess that'll work. Okay. Let's see here. Did I miss any? I think I got every panel. Okay, I think I might be done with the page. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Okay. Yeah, I think that'll work. So, we got these two up here. collecting up the plushie prizes from various games around the outskirts of the island, trying to get back before the final match begins. The girl accidentally lets go, hits these boxes, causes it to tilt and fall towards them, and then it's mysteriously slashed in half. Falls to either side of them over here. And then the girl's going, "Oh no, grab all the plushies!" And the guy's like, "Oh, come on." And the Claw, who is looking at his claw after that slash, is figuring, yeah, it might be time to head back and stop sightseeing. And that's pretty much the page. Okay. Save that. And I guess before I go... Come on. Let's see here. Okay. Before I go... since... Let's see, where was it? The Aquamarine Dragon. They were asking if I could draw my favorite Mario game. Since it would be pretty much impossible to draw the entire game, I will just draw a thing from it, which I assume is what was meant. So, we got a Mario. With his mustache here. The mustachioed plumber, who was originally a carpenter before he was Mario. That is way, way too far out for the mustache. Okay. Let's give him his hat. Normally you're looking at the hat from more of a downward angle, so it like comes up and does how's it go? I think it goes kinda like that. Or it might be... no, I think it goes kinda like that. But we're looking at it from downwards here. Which is presenting a problem, because I'm messing up the skull shape now. So what we want to do is start the eyes and see how it molds from there. This is a bit of a wonky Mario. Wonkio. A forgotten brother of Wario and Waluigi. Wario time. Obviously, I do not have any pictures as reference right now in front of me, so expect some inaccuracies in the form and figure. It seems to be going alright for right now, though. Good enough for me, anyway. Let's give him a better nose. Gotta have the M. Yeah, Mario has pretty much stayed mostly the same since Super Mario World. Once he got, like, the design after the Mario Brothers arcade game, it pretty much stayed solidified, just has been modified slightly over the years in terms of proportions. Trying to remember, though. I was saying my favorite was Super Mario Sunshine. Trying to remember how Flood hooks around him. First, yeah. Get off of that. Get rid of this. Free up some room to work with. Select you, delete you, move you over here. Move you over here. Move you over here. That's better. Okay. Okay. Trying to remember. How does he... I think he has it hooked around underneath is where the handles come from. So... get Flood. Okay. And give him short sleeves since he's in the tropical climate. Although, I might be raising it too high there. Okay, let's redo everything. Alright. Get rid of all this. Let's actually just get the body down. Okay. Alright. I think that pose should be good enough. Okay. And then... let's fix how the arm would be. So, if he Comes in like that. Okay. Alright. Yeah, it's looking good. And then it's like a belt around the waist, isn't it? Like this. Yeah, I think that looks right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Then the, like, water thing, the container for the water, it's, like, hooked on like this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that looks good. And then it's a circle here. And then there's... what is it? It's like a pump type thing here. And then another circle there. Half circle. And then it just comes up over his head, right? Pretty sure that's how it goes. Okay. And it's like a giant cartoony screw area right here. I think that's how it went. Again, I'm not sure how accurate any of this is. I'm just working off of memory. And then it's just a cartoony megaphone-looking opening at the top. There we go. How's it look coming? Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, not the most pretty of water shooting, but it'll get the job done. But how's it connect over here? Does it have, like, that? And maybe that? Okay. Yeah, I think this is how it looks. Is that right? I want to say it has... Does it... Maybe that? I want to say that's how it looks. Oh well. Either way. Got flood, or a gross approximation of flood up there. Then, let's add the other handle. And then some lines here to indicate movement. There we go. Alright, that's good enough. Which is why I keep adding more and more to it. Alright. Well, who was that? The Aqua... Let me scroll up. The Aquamarine Dragon. There you go. My favorite Mario game, arguably, Mario Sunshine Mario. A little ending stream doodle. And back to what the stream was actually about. Here's how the comic page looks in full. I'll be putting this up later on today. And, yeah, I guess that's probably it. If anyone's still here, I hope you have enjoyed. Oh, wait. I, gotta fill in this bit here. It's where the shadow would be, being cast. Okay. Got the box. Should be the last bit then. Always more stuff to fix. You know, on the topic of preservation, I should be saving these streams to my computer at some point. Make sure they are not lost forever. There we go. And if that one was off, let's get it here. Yeah, the box is just slightly off of the other box. That's why there's a shadow there. And is why the box is able to fall in the way that it does when they bump into it. Okay, so get rid of the background. And get rid of the white lines. Okay, is that it? %. Yeah, get that little nick there, and that one there. Okay, that looks okay. Alright. Okay. Let's get her mouth. Is that okay? Alright, now I think it is done. guess, here it is without the blacks, and here it is with the blacks. Without, without, with. There we go. Yeah, I think it's all done then. Stretch, stretch. And we have been going for 3 hours and 35 minutes. Yeah, this was a longer page to edit. Okay, well, I think I am done then. So, again, thank you all for coming. I'm going to have some spaghetti. I'll talk to y'all on Discord and stuff, or whenever the next stream is, but wherever we meet up, I will see you there. Sayonara for now.